Good morning, everyone. Today is day 6 in Japan, and I'm waking up in a rather unusual place. I'm in a shared home or community house that people rent when visiting Isawa Onsen. And by community home, I literally mean that there are 4 to 5 strangers living in this dwelling with me. I don't have a lock on my door, just trust in the fact that Japan actually is a really safe place. And thank goodness that it is. As I was thinking about what I wanted to articulate in this video, the same message kept coming to my mind. So I'll get straight to it. Here's my honest opinion and things you should know when planning a trip to visit Mount Fuji. If you're wondering why I'm in Yamanashi, it is because my sister lived here for over half a decade, and it is one of 2 prefectures where Fuji resides. If you did not know Fuji was so large that it spans into 2 Japanese prefectures, well, I hope this gives you an idea as to how truly massive Fuji really is. Our plan was to stay in her old hometown and visit friends. Then we would wake up the next morning and adventure around to some of the local attractions until everyone was ready to make the voyage. The temple we ended up visiting was gorgeous. Its name is Kaizen Koji, and it was built by warlord Takeda Shingen. It is modeled after the more famous Kaizen Koji temple in Nagano. The main hall is said to be one of the largest wooden buildings in eastern Japan. It's really cool because if you go downstairs into the basement, you can search for the key of paradise. It is said to grant salvation to anyone who touches it. Also during the summertime, you can come here and try Yamanashi Shingen mochi ice cream, which my sister says is fantastic. When we got done here, we adventured a little bit more. We saw nature, rode trains, grabbed little snacks, and even popped into a gigantic Japanese mall before getting with Megumi and her family. Once we all hopped in their van, a feeling of excitement and anticipation washed over me at the thought of getting a chance to sneak a peek at Fuji's majestic wonder. But here's the thing, seeing Fuji is not that straightforward. In fact, Fuji, like most forms of nature, kinda does what it wants to do. And I know that's somewhat of a duh statement, or duh thing to say, but it's true. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we're on day 6 of 14 total days spent in Japan, and I can only honestly say I've seen Fuji a handful of times at this point. I know, you're probably thinking, well, that's because you didn't do your research and you went to Japan in the summer when the humidity's off the charts and Fuji's completely covered in clouds. Actually, no, I did not do that. I went in the spring. And remember, my sister lived in Japan for many years, so she understands quite well how Japan's climate operates. And that is one major thing I want you all to get from this video, if nothing else. Fuji's kind of like the CIA or FBI. You don't really notice Fuji often because it kind of tends to be covered, partially covered, or not visible at all depending on the prefecture that you're in. But the moment you see the gigantic volcano in all its glory, you immediately have to acknowledge its presence. Kind of like the CIA. You can't help but acknowledge it. So this is what I want you to know. If you go to Japan in the winter, then you're very likely to be able to see all of Fuji, especially if you stay 7 to 10 days on your visit. But if you come in the summer, like July or August, you're very unlikely to see Fuji. I'm not saying that you won't see it, but due to humidity, it's pretty much covered up 80 to 90% of the time, at least for those 2 months. If you come in the spring or fall like my sister and I did, then you'll fall somewhere in the middle. You have a pretty good chance of seeing Fuji, but maybe not all of it top to bottom because it might be partially covered by a cloud. Also, everything around Fuji is very convenient. This is by no means a location where you feel isolated from the world or out in the wilderness with no connections to civilization. At the base of Fuji is the 5 lakes where you can go into shops and eat ice cream and take pictures. Megumi got Andrea and I some fresh produce to eat while we walked around, which was really sweet of her. The strawberries were miniature in size, but delicious. Oh, and if you're wondering if this trip is appropriate for children, it totally is. Mi-chan had no issues walking around the garden area as we took in all the views. Close by are a ton of convenience stores, and even a herbal garden that I'll show you later in this video. It's almost impossible not to get a really scenic picture of the surrounding area, even if Fuji is covered up, because this entire place is just gorgeous. If Fuji is a big reason you're visiting Japan and you have to see it, go in December or January. If you don't mind getting sneak peeks of it and maybe don't want to dedicate an entire day's trip to go see it, then coming to Japan in the fall or spring might make the most sense. If you want to climb it though, then I would recommend going in the summer. The bulk of climbing season is actually in the summer, and that's why I say that. If you're interested in finding out more information, go to the Live Japan link under this video to find statistics as to when you're most likely to be able to see Fuji year-round. The statistics are very in-depth and will give a good understanding as to the climate in Shizuoka and Yamanashi. Also, there's a YouTube channel that live streams Fuji year-round. I have a link to this channel in the description down below. When you're in Japan, you can live stream this channel on your phone or device the day you're thinking of going. It'll show you exactly what the volcano looks like in real time. Okay, that's all that I have for you all concerning the Fuji portion of this video. Let's leave here and go check out the Fujisan herb garden a couple minutes down the road.
Oh. Okay. Maybe 5, 4, 3. Okay. Oh, yeah.
She's excited.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright everybody, so this is actually the last thing that we're going to be doing in Yamanashi. Megume actually brought us to the herb garden and we're just kind of walking around after hours, so they actually closed. But I guess because, you know, they saw us in a group, they saw the camera, they wanted us to kind of do our own little walkthrough before they shut everything down. Super happy about that. And I mean, the flowers and everything are just beautiful. Thank you, Megumi. Really appreciate it. Okay.
The herb garden houses approximately 200 types of herbs, including well-known vegetation and spices such as parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme, lavender, mint, oregano, chamomile, fennel, and stevia. The grounds are not gigantic. It'll take you about a half hour to explore if you take your time, but it's easily traversable and friendly to those who might have small children or those that tire easily. You can actually see Mount Fuji from their 13-meter high observation deck, and they have a beautiful gift shop with Fuji-themed foods, candles, jewelry, wine, natural cosmetics, and souvenirs. Their wide variety of flowers is also very impressive, and I really enjoyed that they also had a sizable collection of uniquely colored boulders. I've always enjoyed looking at rocks, so that was a pretty pleasant surprise. Okay, that's pretty much it for day 6 in Japan. Day 7, we will be back in Tokyo. This episode, you'll get to see a sneak peek into Japan's world-renowned Kirby Cafe, located directly next to Tokyo Skytree. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a comment down below, or subscribe if you enjoy content like this. And thanks again for getting the channel to over 2,000 subscribers in a year and a half. I never imagined such an outpouring of support from people all around the world. Thanks so much and have an amazing day. I'll catch you next time.